Well, the 53-man cuts are mostly over. Welcome to it. I'm Frozen Fins fan. Thanks for showing up. Kosa already. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, we have a mole. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Um, Welcome to it. I hope you guys enjoy the show. It's August 26th. This is cut day. This is the end of it. By 4 p.m. today, it was all over. We have an official 53-man initial roster on the Miami Dolphins website, and you can go look at it right now on miamidolphins.com. And it's got the 53-man roster along with the players that are on the injured list and the reserve list. Those players obviously don't count towards the 53-man roster. A couple what the heck's in there, and a couple surprises. We'll get to all that here in a minute. Apologies for all the mess behind me. I'm getting ready for hunting season, so it's going to be kind of a mess in my office for a while I'm getting ready for all of that. I honestly, I'm having a hard time figuring out where to begin here with all of this. Like I said, there's some things in here that I didn't really understand why they did what they did, and I mean, it is what it is. I'm trying to figure out what I did with my phone. Oh my goodness, I am a mess right now. Okay. Anyway, on my Twitter, if anybody's curious of an actual list of all the players that have been cut. Abel, what's up, man? I'm going to be on here probably about an hour and a half or so. Not too long, but if you guys decide you guys want to join up, there's a comment at the top that's got the link. If you guys decide to hop in, should be about an hour and a half. Got to talk about this 53-man a little bit and a couple acquisitions we had. Oh man, my shoulder is so sore. Went and zeroed the rifle in yesterday, so all the kick from that 30-06, about close to 35 shots, all into that shoulder. I'm a little sore. Right on, dude. Right on. Let's just start off with the big elephant in the room. We signed Rasul Douglas to a 1-year, $3 million, up to $3 million contract. It's likely going to be closer to $1.5 million for his contract. We also got the details on the Zach Steeler contract, on his renegotiation on his. And before we signed Rasul Douglas, we were sitting at about $17.5 million in cap space, that's not bad. That's a good place to be sitting, considering we need to go get some running backs and offensive linemen. Those are the two things that I really, really feel a desperate need for, and I'm sure they have that same need. But we picked up Rasul Douglas. Now, Rasul Douglas is about to be 31 years old. I know a lot of people are weirded out by it, especially since we got soured on the whole get a Buffalo Bill thing by Jordan Poyer last year, and I can totally understand why. However, I do want to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that this Rasul Douglas signing doesn't smell of Jordan Poyer to me. I realize that it's, he's 30 years old and he's coming from the Bills. But it doesn't seem, I don't get the creepy Poyer vibe like I did from the Poyer signing. Now we'll see when he gets in. I think he got into Miami today or this afternoon or tomorrow morning. One of the two, he's going to be here. And they'll get an interview with him and stuff, and we'll get to hear him speak and some other things. We'll see how it goes. From what I know, he doesn't have a over-involved wife like Jordan Poyer does. And I'm sure if he has a wife, I'm sure she'll kind of decide to probably stay out of, operational stuff with the Dolphins. So I think it'll be a little bit better situation there. Plus, Rasul Douglas is a professional. I think he will be just fine. I think he'll fit in well. His talents that he does have would fit well with the Miami Dolphins with what they're doing on defense. So it won't be much of a learning curve for him to hop in and start getting play time. As of right now, personally, I would expect him and Storm Duck to be our starting two cornerbacks as we go into the season. So that's where I stand with that. As far as Mike Hilton goes, a lot of people are stressed out about Mike Hilton getting cut and didn't expect it. I did expect it. They cut him, and they're probably going to end up picking him back up. If they don't, I mean, it's fine. He didn't do much during preseason, so we're not really missing much there, I don't think, especially since we have another nickel that's doing a lot better. But it is what it is. We'll probably end up getting Mike Hilton back, but I'm not going to guarantee anything. I just personally feel that they let him go because they didn't want to have to pay him guaranteed money. And if they re-sign him now or reacquire him, he'll be game to game. He won't get guaranteed money. And I think that was the main reason behind what they did there as far as Mike Hilton goes. I had a couple other things that I didn't really understand too much. One of them was Theo Weiss getting cut. I was really bummed about that, but I also understand, that you only got a certain amount of room for players, and let me see here. We kept 6. Looks like 6 wide receivers. Those wide receivers was Nick Westbrook, Taj Washington, Malik Washington, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and D. Eskridge. Now, Raph, what's up, man? How you doing? D. Eskridge, I if you think that Theo Weiss should have been on the team above D. Eskridge, you're crazy. Sorry. D. Eskridge had an amazing offseason, and I'm glad he made the team. I was hoping he would. I figured he would. He did. That's 6 wide receivers. Theo Weiss would have been the 7th. There is a possibility that Theo Weiss ends up making it back around. And if he does, you can guarantee that Miami's going to practice squat him and keep him on lock. Theo Weiss has a lot of potential, and he did well in preseason as well. I'd imagine the wide receiver room was a hard sell for Dolphins coaches to try to figure that one out. There was a lot of players that had a lot of promise on the team. So only had room for 6, had to get rid of 1. I'd imagine that last 1 option, Theo Weiss, I bet that was a hard one for him to do, because there's a chance Theo Weiss won't make it back. A lot of people recognize and saw what he did. So PTSD from ex-Bill players. Oh, I don't think Rasul Douglas is going to do you raw. I honestly believe that he's going to do well. Is he going to be an all-star? Is he going to be all-pro? I'm not saying that at all, believe me. But I do think he'll be okay. So we'll see. But no more PTSD, Raf. No more. Okay. You don't need any more of that. Let's just not have that. Let's just be optimistic with Rasul Douglas. I think he's going to be okay. And like I said earlier in the beginning of the podcast, I think that he's going to end up being our number 1, and Storm Duck's going to be our number 2. It could be flip-flopped either way, but I think they're both going to end up starting for us. So hopefully what's remaining of the cornerback room can stay healthy. And the other thing that we really, really, really need to look at here that I'm really concerned about is the running back room. After all was said and done, we ended up cutting Mike Boone and Shamklin. So we're sitting here with not very many here. We're sitting here with Jalen Wright, who's injured. We have Ollie Gordon, of course. And we have Devon Achane, who's hurt right now. It doesn't look good in the running back room. That's a concern of mine. I would imagine there are going to be a lot of running backs all over the place right now, all over that waiver wire. We are high up. I think we're 11th on the waiver wire. I think I'm not positive on that, but we're in the top half of the league. So that waiver wire, we'll get a good pick out of some players. So, and the Bills cut. Who'd they let go just today? Frank Gore Jr. They let Frank Gore Jr. go. I'm not saying we need to pick him up. I'm not saying that. I was just kind of surprised that they ended up ditching him. That was a shocker to me. 13th, thank you. We're 13th on the waiver wire, so it's a good place to be. We will have a good position to be able to pick up some players. Just keep in mind, whoever we pick up, we've got to make room. They did move some players over on the injured list and stuff like that as well. And the injured list is interesting. I don't know what is going on with Liam Eichenberg, but sitting where we are right now, it would be nice to have him. I'm not going to lie. There's no lie here. It would be nice to have Liam Eichenberg on the team, healthy and playing, even if it's just for a backup. The Martinez is who I would like to snag. If he's available on the wire here, I think Martinez would be the way to go. That would be awesome. But I really wouldn't have a problem with Gore either, coming in and helping out for a while. But right now we are hurting at running back. That and offensive line are what I'm really concerned about right now. Oh, but you're not concerned about the corner. No, I'm not. Not right now. I'm not concerned about cornerback. Right now we had enough positive play from our cornerbacks. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. But we had some good positive play from cornerbacks, and I'm okay with them right now. I think the bigger concern is offensive line depth, and our running back room is number one. Those are the main concerns we're at right now. Things could get better really quick. Sitting here, the Dolphins are with $17.5 or it'd be $15 million now. Sitting here with right around $15 million in salary cap space, we can go get some players that we need. And we have an abundance of players that we can let some go. So Jason Sanders went to injured reserve, and he's going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. We have a bunch of players like that are out for a while. The main one that I'm really kind of bummed about, I am bummed about Jason Sanders. I think that having a good kicker is super important. As you don't realize how important it is until you have a crappy one. That's where we're at with it. Jason Sanders he's a good kicker. He's dependable. He's money. I'm sad that he's hurt. Hopefully his hip gets better quickly. I don't want him out for very long. Darren Waller was at practice today. Didn't do anything again, hardly. I don't know what's going on there. I was shocked that we got rid of Pharaoh Brown. Yeah, exactly. Kickers win or lose games. They're extremely important. I agree 100%. And they get overlooked a lot, and that's why I was like, well, people don't realize how important they are until you have a crappy one or you need one, There are a couple options out there. They worked out a couple kickers. I'm not really going to get into that because I don't know. We'll see what they end up doing at kicker. There's some options, some decent options out there available. I'm sure it'll get worked out. I just can't wait until he comes back after week 4. I'm sure he'll be healthy by then, and I want Sanders back. Got rid of Pharaoh Brown, and so we have some space, in the tight end room, to do something there, because the tight end room I think only has Tanner Connor, who they kept. I was a little surprised they kept Tanner Connor. And, of course, we have Julian Hill and Darren Waller, and that's it. So there's some room for things to happen there too. It is what it is. They kept a bunch of safeties, including Dante Trader. I was actually happy about that. Of course, they kept both quarterbacks, and I'm sure they're going to have Ewers on the inactive, ready to roll list. So he'll be suiting and ready as that third quarterback option, the one that doesn't count, against the player count. I think that's a smart move. Everything else is pretty much as expected. I'm super happy that Zeke Biggers made the team. I'm glad they didn't do anything with him. I was worried that we were going to end up letting the wrong players on that defensive line go, and I feel like they did a pretty good job nailing that down, which is great news. Let's see here. Here, give me 2 seconds here, and I will grab my information so that I can do this proper. Okay. I'll be back. All right. Now I can do this proper. I want to see. It was a busy couple days for Miami, that's for sure. So the list is long and distinguished. Aaron Shamklin and Mike Boone, Mike Hilton and Jackson Carman. Those are the first ones that we saw go. And Jackson Carman, I mean, you had to expect that to happen. He was doing absolutely nothing in camp. He did horribly last year. The times that he got opportunities to play, I wasn't shocked there at all. The Mike Hilton thing, I kind of expected to happen because of the money situation. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up coming back on the team. So there's no really need to freak out there. Plus, I'm not picking on him. It's just he didn't perform that great in the first place. So if he doesn't make his way back around, that's fine. But letting him go, and if we grab him back, that's going to make it to where we don't owe him guaranteed money. And that's a good thing. What's up, Elwood? How you doing, man? They let Ben Still go, the defensive lineman, and Jalen McKenzie, one of our offensive lineman signings. Not anything crazy there. You had to expect it. No problem there. And a lot of these players, they're going to end up having chances to get back because not that many players get picked up off the waiver wire by other teams. Not many players have that happen. There's hundreds of players that go on the waiver wire at this time of year, and only a handful get grabbed. So don't worry too much. AJ Henning, that one sucked a little bit. I was sad, but I mean, I understand we have such a deep wide receiver room that a lot of these players would end up making a lot of other teams, and they just didn't make it on this team. AJ Henning went. Pharaoh Brown got cut. Addison West, the offensive lineman, you had to expect that. He was an undrafted free agent, and took a chance on him, checked him out. He might end up coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if you, in the next couple of days, hear his name announced again as being signed to the practice squad. Cornerback Ethan Robinson, that was a little bit of a surprise as well. But like I said, I mean, if you look at the other options, though, there was one surprise in the cornerback room that really I didn't like. And I'll get to that, and I'll explain why I might be wrong too, just so, for brevity's sake. We'll get there. Offensive lineman Mason Brooks. I mean, that is what it is. Chris Merrick, the other young tight end. We have to make room. That's the bottom line. Some of these guys did some good things in practice, but it's not in the cards. So Cameron Dantzler, the other cornerback, he got let go. Matt Dickerson, that was a little bit of a surprise to me because Matt Dickerson was doing okay. Derek McClendon, another player that I was surprised that they let him go. But again, our edge room is loaded. What are we going to do? with these players. It's one of those situations where some of these players that we let go off of our edge room, they could probably play on other teams. So these are the players that I don't really expect to make it back around on the waiver wire. Players like Derek McClendon. Theo Weiss let go. That was a shocker. Eric Ezekama was let go. Would not be surprised if you see him back on the practice squad. Andrew Armstrong, that was another one that I was kind of hoping would pan out. But once again, we kept 6 receivers, and I really think that if there was going to be a 7th, it would have had to go to Theo Weiss. I don't think Eric Ezekama or Andrew Armstrong would have made that. Cliff, just a minute ago, I said that there was something in the cornerback room that I didn't like that I was going to talk about, and then you come in here and you say it. Damn it. We'll talk about it, I promise. I'm just going through the list of players we got cut and released, and then I'll get to the Cam Smith thing because I do want to talk about that. Good call though, because that was what I was thinking of talking about right there. Patrick McMorris, John Saunders Jr., both those safeties were let go, and it's sad. If you've been a Dolphins fan for a while, you probably like Patrick McMorris. I do too. I like him a lot. But I also like the other safeties we have on the team. I mean, and that's where I'm at with it. That's how I'm looking at this. I'm telling myself, well, we actually have a pretty decent safety room. And like I said, I would not be shocked to see McMorris back on this team here very shortly. Let's see. Grayson Murphy got let go. That was a little bit of a surprise as well. But once again, our edge room is loaded. So it sucks. That's one of those players that might end up finding a place to play besides here. And that is what it is at this point, you know. We talked a little bit about the Rasul Douglas signing. Quentin Bell got released, another edge rusher. That edge room was stacked, and there was a lot. So had to get rid of some of these guys. I like Quentin Bell too. Sad to see him go. BJ Adams, the cornerback, another cornerback we let go. Expect some of these cornerbacks to come back on the practice squad. That's probably going to happen. So Ryan Hayes, offensive line, and Josh Preeb. Josh Preeb was the other undrafted free agent that we picked up this year. He might end up coming back on off of waivers, but I mean, it is what it is at this point, right? Eugene Asante, the linebacker, that was one that I was kind of a little bit like, yeah, it sucks, but look at our linebacker room. I mean, we have a good linebacking core, edge and not edge in the middle too. Probably the best middle linebacking core that we've had on this team in years. And edge rushing wise, absolutely the best we've had in years, especially if they can manage to stay, what's that word? Healthy. Can they stay healthy? I hope so, because if they can, there's not many teams that are going to be able to stop this edge room. The pressure from the inside and outside given by the Miami Dolphins is going to be nearly unstoppable if they can all stay healthy. And I'm not talking about little boo-boos here and there. That is what it is. Jorge, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in here, dude. Appreciate it. Pardon me. My goodness. It's getting chilly here in Fairbanks and North Pole area. Nope, not yet, man. I never will. I mean, every franchise in the world has rough times, you know what I mean? And this, when I look at it on the grand scheme of things, this really isn't as rough as it could be. There's a lot to be excited about. I mean, if you watch mainstream sports media and things like that, where people really just kind of dabble in each team and not really specialize in anything, they really don't know much. And when you listen to those kind of guys, you're going to hear a bad story. You're going to hear a sad story about the Dolphins and other teams too. But when you really dig into it, it's just not as bad as they want it to be. It seems like they want it to be worse than it actually is. And that's where I'm at with it. People are still talking about, things that aren't even really a concern for people who are actually following the team. And I mean, my main concerns right now are running back and backup offensive linemen. We only have 3 offensive linemen that are backups on this team right now. I really would like to see that jump by a couple more linemen. Now, I think part of the reason that we only have 3 is because I think they're going to add a couple more. So we'll see. Butler and Colbert are the last man hired, first man fired. We are looking for help at O-line and tight end. I wouldn't mind adding a tight end either. But what I do want to see, I'd like to, you know what? I would just settle for Waller practicing. Like give me Waller practicing and I'll be okay. Velvet ropes will part. Angels will sing. Just give me that. Get the man playing and practicing, and I'll feel better about the tight end room. I do like Julian Hill, and I look. I mean, we all know the deal with Julian Hill, Mister Fumble sometimes, and Mister Grabby, always getting the penalties, right? So if he can just kind of grow like you would expect a player to grow, I think this is his 3rd year coming in here. It's kind of last chance for him. I would like to see him do better. Yeah, Waller's. Yeah, I mentioned earlier he's still not practicing. It's probably it could be a small injury of some kind. It really could be. That's kind of the only thing I really think it could be. But if it's something like that and it's not really being talked about, I'm not really too concerned about it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Waller. That's what I mean. Like, if he's going to do that, if he's really considering retiring or whatever, then he needs to just do it now, right? I mean, the longer he waits, the more it's going to hurt us. This is the time to do it because we have opportunities to try to fill that room back up. If he's going to retire, the Dolphins would not have cut Pharaoh Brown. No way. And that's my only thought. It's like, if he's doing that, I guarantee you he hasn't talked to the Dolphins about it. Because if that was the case, there's no way we would have let Pharaoh Brown go. People are crazy thinking we are weak. We played vanilla. Tyreek and Waddle will be deep. Yeah, we did play very vanilla in the preseason, but a lot of teams did, right? I mean, we were the only one that did that. So, like I said, play calling and team strategy and things like that, it's impossible to get a good feel of that during preseason. Yeah, and that's kind of I don't really think he's going to retire, but I mean, if he does, he needs to do it. And he is committed. He did commit to it, and that's why I mean, like, if he really is having thoughts about retiring, he needs to do it now, right? Yeah, Damian Martinez, and that's what we were saying in the very beginning of the stream. Yeah, I think Damian Martinez will be a fantastic guy to look into off the wire if he makes it. That's the question. That's the thing is he going to make it to 13? That's where we sit on the wire. Him and Frank Gore Jr. would be another one to look at. I guarantee you Frank Gore Jr. is not happy about being let go by the Bills. So he would be an interesting one to pick up because these are players that are going to want to play well, especially against the Bills. They got something to prove. So if we ended up picking him up or Frank Gore Jr., I would be okay with either one. Because at that point, we're looking at depth anyway. I mean, let's face it. Achane and Ollie Gordon are going to be 1 and 2, at least to start the season, because Wright's out for the first game. And I would be okay with that. Would anybody else have a problem with Achane and Ollie Gordon being 1 and 2 going into week 1? Honestly, tell me, because I really think that would be an ideal situation, actually. 2 completely different running styles. You could have an ebb and flow with them coming in and out of the game, keeping them both, fresh. And that would really be a good 1-2 punch. I really think that would be fantastic to see. Don't forget, at the top of the comments, if anybody does want to hop in and join, you're more than welcome to. Just click the link. Yeah, Damian Martinez would be amazing. I cannot believe that Seattle let him go. And I didn't really follow to see what kind of preseason he had this year, so maybe there's a reason that he didn't make the team, but I can't imagine that being a name that's going to make it all the way down the waiver wire and get back to Seattle. I just don't see that happening. Yeah, I don't think it could be a boo-boo, but I don't think it's something like an Achilles. I think that if anything, it's probably learning, and it could be a small injury, but it's got to be the kind of injury that isn't important or not something very big. Because if it was something bigger than that, they would not, like I said, they would not have let Pharaoh Brown go. There's no way. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, that's going to be a heck of a combination. I can't wait to see it in a game where it matters. A lot of people think that the Dolphins are going to lose to the Indianapolis Colts. The Dolphins are actually underdogs, so we should have Elwood here. Oh,
I'm in. Are you in?
I'm in. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yep, we got you.
Can you hear me now?
I got you, Elwood.
Like the old AT&T commercial. Can you hear me now?
Oh, man. If we lose opening week, I'm changing my favorite team. Oh, come on. Let's see. Oh, he's just kidding.
I think people are crazy thinking that we're going to be weak. I just see we've been playing vanilla offense all this time, and with Ollie Gordon and Achane, and I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're going to have a little bit of something other for them in Dallas Colts, I think.
Well, I think that we, as far as play calling goes, I mean, to expect if Mike McDaniel was going to be trying to change some things up and do something different, there's no way he would show that in preseason. That just doesn't make sense. And exactly. I know that Mike McDaniel kind of bumbles and stumbles in his interviews and ums and ahs and uhs, but when it comes
I got you.
When it comes to strategy, I don't see him doing that. So I think what you're going to see is all the stuff that we should have been doing last year that we couldn't because of offensive line play mainly and run game, deficiency. I think we're going to see a lot of that right off the bat in week 1. And like you said, it's got to be vanilla in preseason. You don't want to give anything away, before the season starts.
I mean, our whole preseason thing, did you remember any time that we threw the ball deep? I mean, we threw some 20-yarders. We threw some 15-yarders. Do you remember any time we threw the ball deep in a preseason game? You know what I mean? Any 40, 50-yarders to anybody running the bomb. We did not throw any of those.
Yeah, there was only 1 or 2 bombs, and they were around 35 or 40 yards. But those were outliers, mainly.
Well, you know what I mean, with Tyreek and Waddle and Malik, and you know what I mean, when they get these crossing routes and you hand the ball off to Ali, who's been running 5 yards a carry, or you pitch it to Achane, who's running 7 yards. There's going to be a lot of safeties and linebackers creeping up. You know what I mean, and all Waddle or Tyreek needs is one step, and they're gone, and it's over the top. You know what I mean? That's when in 23, that's what we ruled on. Mostert had 21 touchdowns, 17 on the ground. You know what I mean? 1,000 yards. Achane had 800 yards, 7 to 8 yards a carry. I mean, it was, and then at the end of the year, everybody got hurt, obviously, but that's what, but I can see that, in this team. I swear I can.
Yeah. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit different offensive scheme come week 1 of the regular season compared to what we've seen in preseason. That's the way it's going to be. If you don't think that, I don't know if anybody doesn't think that, if anybody thinks that what we saw in preseason is what the offensive play calling is going to be like, that's crazy. Right. That's crazy.
what I want, I'm like, I want Tua to be like Bob Greasy in the Super Bowl in '72. Go 7 for 12 for like 89 yards. Hand the ball off 35 times to the perfect backfield. That's what I'm looking for.
Yep. If you've got a good run game, you don't have to do much through the air.
They say three things happen when you pass the ball, and two of them are bad.
Yep. And like I said, people are aching for this long game, deep game to come back, and I understand completely. But really, what I'm more excited for is to see our short game, our third and short, our fourth and short, our goal line type plays. I want to see that, and I feel like we'll get a much better evaluation of how this team's doing the first time we see our team in the red zone, the first time we see our team with a 3rd and 2.
Right.
What's
that's why I like Ollie Gordon. Instead of the A-chain of Jalen Wright, he always falls forward.
Yep. And ideally, I look at this, and I'm not like an offensive genius, but when I look at the players we have, when I think of a play call, I'm seeing in my mind this big set, this 2 tight end set with Achane and Gordon in the background, Achane out to the flat, and Gordon up the middle, and run that option. Depending on what the defense shows,
that RPO, that's be deadly.
Man,
that would be deadly.
That's going to be unstoppable if it's played right, and if the offensive line,
if the defensive end crashes down, you pull it back, throw the A-chain. If he follows A-chain, you give it to Ollie right up the middle. I understand what you're saying. That's a beautiful play.
Yep, that's what I want to see, and I feel like those simple plays that teams know that we're going to run. They know that we're going to do that, right? That's what I want to see. I want to see what happens when a team knows what we're going to do and we do it anyway. And I'm not talking about vanilla plays. I'm talking about good, strong plays made for our players. You run something like that, or even instead of 2 tight ends, have 1 tight end and have a slot receiver, or not really a slot, but one up on the line, because you have to have that many on the line. But you get my point. Like, there's things we can do. And I feel like
so many things, because so many weapons.
Yeah, our goal line was horrible last year. Our short game was terrible because we couldn't.
Yeah, I thought about it. I said, if we get down to the goal line, 1st and 1 from the goal, we need to take a false start and get back to 1 and 6, and 1st and 6, so we can score.
Yep. And I want to address this really quick. We have passed on a handful of gems even after Breeze. It's been a tough run for us fans, and you are absolutely right. And I say this often in a lot of my streams is I understand that Dolphins fans are extremely jaded, and I totally get it. I do. I've been a fan since 1986.
All my life, right.
Yeah, and I get it. I understand being jaded. I totally understand. 26 years now without a playoff win, it's hard. And so for fans to be downtrodden and upset sometimes and negative, I totally get it. I've chosen to be, especially with this channel, I've chosen to be an encourager, to try to take a more hopeful approach, because there's a lot of.
That's why I like you, Triple F. Every time I get on these other channels and stuff, oh, woe is me, we suck, we're going to win 5 games, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, God damn, y'all, the training camp hasn't even started yet. Damn, you don't even know what the fuck's going on. Excuse my language. They don't even know what's going on. You already got us 5 wins, training camp hasn't started.
Yeah.
Damn, you know what I mean?
And like I said, I understand people being that way. I totally get it, I get upset sometimes too about it, but
who had Minnesota going 14-2 14-3 last year?
Oh,
I nobody. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't. Yeah, that's crazy.
When things click together and the boys play the right game, they're unstoppable. We already see that on a 70-point game.
Yeah.
We should have broke the record that day. I was like, F everybody, you know what I mean? Break the record, you know what I mean? I don't care about Sean Payton, kick his butt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was not, you know what I'm saying. You got to down the ball. You don't break the record, but break the record, man. Go on.
Yeah, that was weird. We should have totally gone for it.
Right. Surely you just to break the record, say to hell with everybody, you know. You go down in history, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, the Broncos were happy though. They felt pretty appreciative of that. Nobody wants to be on the other end of that record.
Shoot. What, Mike White threw a damn 60-yard pass to what Robbie Chosen?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have nothing that day.
Yeah, the Dolphins were trying, you know, as much as they could to take it easy, but the Broncos just kept giving them everything. And what's funny is after that game, the Broncos defense just turned around. After that game,
Well, they know what
got
not to
real
do
good.
from now on.
Yep.
They learned what not to do from us.
By the way, those of you that are in here, if you're in here just for a minute or for the whole show, make sure you drop a like before you take off. It helps out a lot. Get that algorithm going for me. If you do decide to jump in, look at the stream down at the bottom, and if you look at all the way up to the top of the comments, you'll see a link. You can click that and join if you want to. Go ahead.
Hey, what do you think about getting a couple players, you know, on the waiver wire? And are we going to grab a couple, or are we just going to stand pat what we got?
No, we're not going to stand pat. That would be nuts.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think Damian Martinez or Frank Gore Jr. right off the bat would be good to look into to help us out at running back for sure. And then there's a lot of offensive linemen, and there's a couple that would work out pretty quickly for us. I think we could use some help there too, some backups. When they passed on Breeze in the draft, that was disappointing. When they chose Culpepper over Breeze, that was despicable. Agreed. The Culpepper thing was horrible, and the coaching staff didn't want that either. From if I remember that correctly. No, I'm not positive. I think we lost Elwood. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things we can do with the waiver wire, and we're in a good position on the waiver wire, so we could definitely grab some things that we need, and mainly running back is an absolute necessity. Tight end is a slight need, I think, and offensive line depth would be another one. Other than that, I'm actually pretty happy with the cornerback room. A lot of people want to talk smack about them. It's low-hanging fruit, really. There's been a lot of positive play from the cornerbacks this preseason. I feel like they've grown a lot, and I want to see what they can do before we go crazy. We have time, so I want to see how they own up to being the guys. You know, see what happens there. Oof, yeah. And that was a rough game too. What was that? 1985? Was it 85? It's one of those games that always seems to be showing a lot on NFL Network. I always end up watching it. I don't know why. They're going to lose. I know they're going to lose that game, but I always watch it. That was Dan Marino's first run at it. Man. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a few good players out there that I think we could do well to get into. Hopefully they do something pretty quick. I mean, like I said, the waivers wire starts or it's over tomorrow at 4 p.m. I think is what the deal is. So tomorrow morning to afternoon, we'll know then. Hopefully something happens. Yeah, you're right, and I'll read that. To me, being a true Dolphins fan means you compliment the team when they play well, and you critique the team when we play not so well. Well, you're right, and I do take a hopeful approach, a more positive attitude towards all of this, but anybody who watches my shows and my videos knows that I'm gonna pick apart what's bad and what's good, and I'm gonna evaluate. And they're honest evaluations. I might be a positive person here, but I'm gonna give my evaluation if it's good or bad. I'm not saying, oh, we're gonna be great, everything's fine. But I remain hopeful, and I refuse to evaluate until there's enough information to where you can make an accurate evaluation. Can't do that until you actually have the time. So, and I'm much like Curtis in that. I'm gonna evaluate what I can, but I'm not gonna, condemn things that I just don't know about yet. We'll see. We got to watch. We got to see what happens. This is the beginning of the season. This is the time for optimism, not the time for negative Nancy's, right? We want the team to be dogs, fighters, have a positive attitude and work hard. And we need to have positive attitude and be fighters too. We need to be confident in our team and root for them. And that doesn't mean rooting for losses. That's not what we should be doing. Shouldn't be hoping for failure. That's not good. It's a slippery slope. You start rooting for a couple players to do bad, you're rooting for your team to do bad at that point. Can't get behind that. So that's why I am the way I am. We'll do this way. Week 4, I mentioned it a few times before on other streams. Week 4, I'm gonna make. It's gonna be a busy week for me. I'm gonna make sure to do a lot of evaluations online about the team. Each individual on the team, I'm gonna evaluate. What have they done? How are they doing? What can they do better? These, where do they excel? Has the coaching staff put these players in a position to excel, or are they failing because of the coaching staff, or are they failing because they're just not cutting it? Where is the weakness? We can look at the team and we can say, well, that looks like a weakness to me, and that looks like a weakness. The tight end room looks kind of like a weakness right now, a little bit. The running back room could be weak just because of depth. The offensive line's probably a little weak because of depth. We can look at these things. Cornerback room, it's a big question mark in the cornerback room. We see some decent play in preseason, right? But we don't have much in that aspect to evaluate proper for the cornerbacks. It's a question mark. So I choose to remain optimistic about the cornerbacks until I see enough information on them to give a proper evaluation. It's coming. We're going to get that information the first few weeks of the season. So it's a guessing game right now with a lot of this. So while it's a guessing game, I'm going to remain hopeful about it. I do not think this team is a 4 or 5 win team. I don't. I could see why other people would think that. I'm not going to chastise someone for saying we're going to go 4 and 13. If you feel that way, that's fine. But if you're going to come on the internet, on YouTube, and say we're going to go 4 and 13, tell us why. How come? Why do you think that? Where is this coming from? I've explained why I think that we're not going to be that. I think in a lot of ways, this is one of the best teams, attitude-wise, I've seen in a long time. I don't know what that's going to mean leading into this. It could mean anything. Oh, we got the man, the myth, the legend here. We got Abel. What's up, dude?
Hey, Dirk. How's it going?
Doing good. I love that.
It's some of those phone things.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, my wife got it for me last year, like towards the end of last year. I think for Christmas. But yeah, it's just funny. Kind of sucks though because
I got a question for you.
What's up?
While I eat my little piece of jerky here, is this team a 4 and 13 team?
I want to say no, just because talent wise, like you can't pencil in like that it's going to be that bad.
Right.
I don't think there's any way. I mean, I think it's still definitely like within that worse, maybe 5 or 6, but 4 I think is just way too low. There's no way. Like, you're asking that because of what you're basing off of, like what other people are saying, or?
Yeah, just out of curiosity.
Hmm.
So, give me a ceiling for the team and give me a floor.
Ceiling wins wise, I would probably say 10 or 11.
Okay.
Floor, I would have to say probably like 5 or 6.
Okay, that's respectable. Could be anything really. I mean, like I said, that's the best part about being in the beginning of the season. So, my next question: what's the biggest weakness on this team right now?
So I'm going to answer that in 2 ways. I
Sure.
guess player position wise, it would have to be probably the cornerback group, just because hey, they're going to improve, and until they actually get out there on the field with the ones and actually play a game, we know that the front's going to get to it, but it's like, is that back end going to hold up? Is Minka going to have everything that he can to be a general with the safeties in the corners and try to take care of everything like that?
Yeah, I can see that.
But I think to the other point of it's that are they not going to be like little punks anymore? Well, not punks anymore. Like, are they throughout the off season with Aaron Brewer's comments with the Bears and the joint practice with the Lions, where everyone's still calling us soft, and it's like, okay, guys, like how it gets up to a point where it is tiring, where it's like, okay, you really well, then let's do something about it once and for all.
Mm-hmm. That's the big question, and you know me, I'm a big stickler for the attitude thing and the identity thing. I've been talking about that ad nauseum for a year now. I think that's a big part of this. You're right, and I have the cornerbacks as my big question mark for the team. Right, I don't necessarily label them as a weakness for me personally because I don't know. Right, I have no basis. It's just a big question mark for me. So I have them as the question mark for the team. For the weakness on this team right now, I have offensive line depth. I feel like that's our weakness right now. That's our kryptonite is we just don't have enough offensive linemen that can carry their weight. And I feel like the strengths are obvious. The strengths are the front seven. Our middle linebacking core is incredible. I'm super stoked to see our middle linebackers play in a game. I can't wait to see how that rotation works. And I think our wide receivers are incredible this year. Much more dynamic than what we had the last few years. So I mean, we'll see how it ends up all panning out, but there's positives and there's negatives, right, for everything. My big question now is, what do you think about Rasul Douglas, the next Bills spy?
Yeah, it was all. I'm always scouring Reddit for information, or I like going to there first to see what everyone says, and yeah, everyone was like, it's Jordan Poyer 2.0, and keep a good one I saw someone put was keep Jalen Phillips away from him at all costs.
Yes.
That was a funny one, but I mean, we needed that experience. It's going to be kind of scary though, as far as, hey, he didn't play in a game at all. That's not even preseason. Is he going to learn things in 2 weeks? And I guess that's just the real big question with him, as far as, is he going to get up to speed? Because I even went and I checked out the Bills, right, and they're like, oh well, what did some dumb Bills fan say? He said, typical Dolphins behavior to for us to take a player that Sean McDermott cannot keep on his defense and think that like he's gonna do good with us. And I was like, okay, all right.
Yep. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see how this all pans out. Like that's kind of why this is so exciting because we've got the Indianapolis Colts for the first game of the week, and like I said, we're actually underdogs in that game as of right now. I think we're 3-point underdogs. 3.5, I think is what it last was.
Okay. I thought I saw a point and a half.
Is that what it says?
I think that's what I saw, but I think that was as of yesterday.
Let's go with that because it was a few days ago where I saw the 3. So we'll go with 1.5 underdogs. And I think it's probably just because we're not playing at home for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they give a point to the home team. But man, I feel like I said with those first 4 games, it's the Colts, then it's the Patriots, then it's the Bills, then it's the Jets. I think by week 4 we'll have our answers for everything. We're playing against teams with different strengths, different weaknesses. We're playing against our daddies too in the Bills. I think that'll give us all of our answers.
I haven't checked their schedules yet to see if they do they all play? Do the Jets, Bills, and Patriots play each other? I'm gonna check that out now.
Cool, yeah, because I don't think they have the same kind of beginning that we do.
The Jets play the Bills week 2. I'm just saying it from a point of where it's okay, because that really is going to defy our season. Where hey, if we can get one up on, of course we want to win them all, but go 3-1 or 2-2, that's going to be a big comparison to it's okay, if unless we're 1-3 and 0-4 and they haven't all played each other, it's okay.
Yeah, I think that right now, if I gun to my head, I would look at this opening for the schedule and I want to say 3-1. But I could see a 2-2 in there. Honestly, I could probably see 1-3 as well. We don't know. It's going to be an interesting start, and I think that there's a couple interesting things about this season that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. One of them is that we have 0 trips to the West Coast this year, which is great. We do have 1 trip to Spain, but there's no traveling outside of our time zone other than that. We've kind of got a really nice schedule on us here. Goodbye.
And that I kind of like that the team did that. I don't know if it was Mike McDaniel's choice or maybe just a thing for logistics with this whole preseason thing. But I thought it was a really good idea for them to start in the preseason, go to Chicago, stay there, get on the buses, because they took buses right to Detroit. They stayed on the road for 2 weeks.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty good idea, by either the coaching staff or the team overall. Because like you're saying, that's pretty much going to be their longest. The farthest that they go this year is just up to Cleveland.
Yep.
Or well, obviously the trip, to Spain.
Yeah.
But that is something. Yeah, I was looking at that's a good advantage for us. Where and you're just taking you're just talking about the schedule right now, or
yeah, it's just kind of something I was thinking about the way the schedule is working out for the Dolphins this year. I'm actually pretty encouraged by it. We also don't have a late Bills game in Buffalo. A lot of it is going to work out. There's going to be a couple cold weather games on our schedule, but I'm encouraged by the schedule itself. The one thing I do wish is that the dome game in Indianapolis was later in the year. Give us a nice dome game in the middle of the winter, but it is what it is.
I'm gonna try to find a stat from Warren Sharp's book. I've been wanting to say it on Curtis's show, but I think this is a good point to make that no one's kind of talked about. Give me a moment as I try to find it.
Sure.
But we can talk about other things too.
Yeah, let me know when you find it. Do your thing. I think. So we got this weekend with no game, and then next week is the game week. So that's when I will be getting back into game previews and game recaps after the games are over. And I'll be trying to live stream most of the games as they happen. But that's kind of my schedule for the year during the regular season. Those of you that like the live streams, that's mainly going to be happening during games themselves. Did you find it?
I'm gonna try to look it up on my laptop here because I have it on the phone, but I'll get it.
Yeah, and that's the main thing I'm going to be doing. I'm also going to be starting something up. It's obviously all going to be the same channel. But I'm going to be doing kind of power ranking every week, like top 15 teams in the NFL. So I'll be doing that video once a week, probably on Fridays. So that way I can get the Thursday night game in before I give that rating. So something for every NFL team during the week. Yeah, what he said. Hit that like button. Hey Liz, how's it going? Good to see you in here. I just noticed that your profile picture is a pizza. Is that the pizza from your birthday? I think I remember something on Pete's Takes channels about you having pizza on your birthday. I don't know if I said this already, by the way. It just popped into my head. I am so happy that Zeke Biggers made the team. I was really worried that he was going to end up getting the short end of the stick. So glad that he made it.
What was your biggest surprise cut? I guess I'll ask, or who are you most?
I know why it happened, but I was really bummed that Theo Weiss got cut.
That didn't make it.
Yeah, I really wanted Theo Weiss. That was the one that I didn't like. I didn't like him getting cut.
Yeah, loaded room.
We should talk while you're looking. I want to talk about Cam Smith real quick because I forgot to do that, and I was pretty shocked that they ended up keeping him. And I wonder if they just kept him because he did play really well in that last preseason game. In fact, he was one of the highest rated Dolphins on the field, according to the all-knowing and all-wonderful PFF. I think he had like a 85 grade. I don't know what they're doing with Cam Smith. I don't know why. Maybe he's turning a corner and they're happy about it or something, but I almost feel like that's an extra spot on the team that he's taking up. I know he can run.
Yeah,
I know he does
right away.
What's that? I think the only reason that they're keeping him really, as far as contributions go, I think that he's going to end up being one of our special teams, aces. They're going to use him on special teams, but I just don't understand why. Oh, we lost him. I was afraid of that. His signal was really bad. Oh, man. Hopefully he shoots back here. So, yeah, the Cam Smith thing kind of bugged me because I feel like there was other players that could have taken that spot. So I was real bummed to see that he ended up getting on the team. I've watched him do nothing for so long, So that's a bummer. True Talk, I got you. You going there?
What's up? What's up? You can hear me?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
What's up? What's up? So what's it called? Today was 53-man cut day, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Who is the people that made it? I don't even know.
Cam Smith made it. That's a big one. That was a shocker to me. All three quarterbacks made it. We only have 2 running backs because
Did
out.
Did Jason Marshall Jr. make it? Because that's what I'm worried about.
I think he did, but let me double check that.
He made it
on the team. He made it.
I'm telling you that. Jason Marshall Jr., he's gonna be a top 5 corner in the league at some point. That guy, he's 6'2", 6'3", and if you saw how he leveled out when he was on the during the athletic, I think it was like an athletic test that he was doing. He was literally number 1 in all of corners that got drafted last year, and he was number 1 of all of them. I'm telling you, that guy, Jason Marshall Jr. gives me Jalen Ramsey, prime Jalen Ramsey, Jacksonville Jaguar type vibes.
You know, you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. He's got some promise. I kept watching him, and like I said, when I saw his name earlier today, I was pretty happy that he didn't get cut because I was worried if he was on the fringe or not. So pretty happy that he made.
He's gonna start. He should start. He's better than the guy we picked up today, Rasul.
I think they're putting him at nickel. I think they were saying
He's
something
better than
about him at nickel. Yeah, Rasul Douglas.
He can play anywhere. Jason.
Yeah.
Jason Marshall Jr. He's our best corner by far. That guy's gonna win. He's gonna be a Pro Bowler. He's gonna be a Pro Bowl corner. He's 6'2", 6'3", is extremely athletic. He knows what he's doing. He gets interceptions. I mean, that guy's the next Jalen Ramsey. I see a lot of Jalen Ramsey, like prime Jalen Ramsey, when I look at Jason Marshall Jr.
Yeah.
So I mean, and he's not as much as a baby as Jalen Ramsey is either, which is amazing.
Yeah, and also Ethan Bonner made it. I'm glad about that too. I feel like he's got some room to grow, but I feel like he's going to be good too. Let's see. Zeke Biggers made it. I was worried that he was going to end up getting dropped, but he made it through. He flashed just enough during the season to make the team, I think.
Hey, but the question is, how long until Quinn Ewers is going to get a real opportunity to start for this team?
Well, I don't think. Okay, here's my situation with the quarterbacks. I don't think that Zach Wilson should be number 2. I think it should be Quinn Ewers.
I think Quinn Ewers should be number 1.
Well, and I know a lot of people do think that, and like I said, I respect it. I respect it, but
yeah,
I don't think that. I think until we see what happens this year with Tua, I don't think that Quinn Ewers should be given that job. I don't think he's quite ready for starting. But
I think Quinn Ewers. Tua had 3 drives. He scored 1 touchdown and looked awful on those 3 drives. Quinn Ewers had multiple games. He had multiple drives, and he looked better in every single drive than Tua did in 1 drive. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Quinn is better.
Am I crazy, or is his release just so pretty? I don't know why. Like, I just see it, and I'm like, wow. Like, the way that it's just like a quick little chew. And like, if you go back to his touchdown, the one that he threw against Detroit, like you could see that he knew that the guy was gonna get open, and he just threw it with no effort. Like, just it looked like he was throwing like a roll of toilet paper, just like, here you go, and just beautiful, no little strength, and it just fluttered. And
I do like
it was.
I like
pretty.
Ewers throwing motion. I do.
Shout
out to Pete's Takes. He's in the building.
And let's not forget that Quinn Ewers was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school too. You know what I mean? So he has the talent. It's just, he just wasn't in the right position. But now he's in the right position. He's got Tyreek Hill next to him. He's got Jalen Waddle. He's got a bunch of people that he could throw to.
Yeah.
And I feel like Quinn Ewers is gonna be like the Bo Nix of this year. You get what I'm saying? Tua's gonna go down. He's gonna go down week 2 or week 3, And then next thing you know, Zach Wilson's going to stink it up for 4 or 5 games. Quinn Ewers is going to get a shot, and Quinn Ewers is going to lead us to the playoffs. And he's going to win us a playoff game. And he's going to lead us to a Super Bowl. I feel it.
So where I'm at personally is I still have Tua as 1 right now, just for now. But if something happens to Tua, or if he doesn't show out these first few games of the season, I am totally okay with Ewers taking over. But
you know who should have been cut? Zach Wilson should have been cut today, if I'm being real. And we should have Quinn Ewers should have been moved up to quarterback 2, and the quarterback 3 should have been that guy that they kept on cutting and bringing back all training camp. I forgot his name. Beecher or something, or Backer or something.
Yeah, let me find that guy. I gotta remember who that is. I
just make that guy quarterback 3. That's what they should have done.
Who? What? Brett Gabbert?
Gabbert.
Is that who you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, just make him QB3. Yeah, that's what I would have done. I would have made him QB3, cut Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers is QB2, and that's it.
You're throwing away $6 million, and I think that's the only reason that they didn't get rid of Zach Wilson. Personally, I think it's because $6 million guaranteed. So if he doesn't do anything, they have to throw him that $6 million no matter what. But they are sitting at $17 million right now. So
what you're saying is we could sign more people with that $17 million that we have just sitting there.
Well, right now the main needs we have, I unfortunately I don't think that our main need is quarterback. Right now we need running backs, we need offensive line help, and we need a tight end. I think personally.
I think our corners are elite now. To be honest, we got Jason Marshall Jr., who's going to be cornerback 1 by week 6 or 7. He's going to be shadowing the best player on the other teams.
I'm good with corners. I'm happy with what we have right now in the cornerback room.
I'm good with corners.
It might be a small question right now of how they're going to perform, but I want to see how they perform before we go looking for other corners, personally.
I agree with that. I mean, you got Jason Marshall Jr. that's going to start day 1. He's a starter. And then you're gonna also have Storm Duck, Rasul Douglas, and Jack Jones.
Right.
And that's a pretty elite group right there, if you ask me.
Look at this comment here. Julian Hill somehow is on the team when Pharaoh Brown and Rucci were both dropped. I understand the frustration with that one. I was surprised at that as well.
So Julian Hill is still on the team, the tight end you're talking about?
Yeah, Julian Hill, and we have Julian Hill, Darren Waller, and
Connor.
Tanner Connor. Yeah, that's our tight ends. That's why
Tanner Connor can't catch. That's the issue with him.
And Julian Hill can't catch either.
And Julian Hill can't catch. And I don't know nothing. I mean, Darren Waller, yeah, but I don't know nothing about him right now. But I mean, I got high hopes for Darren Waller right now.
Yeah, I just want to, like I was saying earlier in the stream, I just want to see him practice and get involved. That's my main hang up is why are we not doing anything with him? That's my issue.
Please no OBJ part 2. That's what I told Curtis right from the start.
Right.
That's what it smells like. I mean, I wouldn't be wrong, but until he gets on the field, we'll see.
Hey, you know who else? You know who else who's not thinking of that could be a tight end? The Nick Westbrook guy. He could be tight end.
Yep, he can play tight end. He actually has some experience doing it. I don't think in NFL, but he does have experience playing tight end. I think he could do that. He's a good enough blocker to be able to handle most edge rushers somewhat.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be the greatest blocker on the team, but he could do it.
And you know what I think is going to happen? I think the Theo Weiss guy is going to go to the practice squad, and I think we're going to move. If Darren Waller's not ready by week 1 or 2, we're going to move Westbrook-Ikhine as the starting tight end, and we're going to just move up Theo Weiss as wide receiver 5 or whatever he's going to be. And that's just what it's going to be. He's just going to take the Nick Westbrook-Ikhine guy's spot until Waller's available.
Yeah.
and then we're gonna have Quinn Ewers back there hopefully by then. That's what I'm watching for this year.
So how do you think Tua? How do you think Tua gets benched? Do you think it's after a few weeks? Do you think it's an injury? Do you think it's?
I think he gets hurt.
Bad play.
I think he retires. I think he retires by week 4 or 5. I'm surprised he didn't retire in training camp. If I'm being real, I thought he was going to retire in training camp, and he didn't retire. I think he retires by week 4 or 5. Because remember during the offseason, all these pictures came out of him with the big old gut on a yacht, partying all the time, hanging out with Morgan Wallen at all these parties. You feel me? So he wasn't thinking about football at all in the entire offseason. I think he's already ready to retire. I think one injury and he's out. He's out. Tua's done. He's gonna retire by one more injury, week 3 or 4. He's gonna retire in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I feel.
So
and then
I got a question. Real quick. True talk. Where is this Tua this strong stance on Tua coming from? Like why do you think that's so hard? I guess I'll say.
What's so hard?
Like that he's gonna that he doesn't like his work ethic wasn't good like in the offseason, or that he's gonna retire.
Well, we saw him on the boat. Did you see him on the yacht? Multiple pictures of him on yachts with the big old beer belly, all off season. He didn't look like he was ready to play a season in a couple months, and he still doesn't look like it now. I'm telling you, what did you see from him in those 3 drives in the preseason that made you think that he's ready to play football September 6th? I didn't see anything that made me say, oh yeah, this guy's ready to play football. It looks like a guy that is halfway out the door and is just ready to have an injury settlement. That's what it looks like to me, in my opinion.
Okay. So we're kind of like, you're thinking that he's maybe mailing it in, so to say.
Yeah, he's done. Tua's done. He's halfway out the door. He's ready. He's already getting his retirement plan ready. He's done. By week 3 or 4, one more injury, he's out of there. Remember, he hurt his hip last year by getting in the shower. That's how he hurt his hip. That's how he hurt his hip last year. When he missed the rest of the season?
He got hurt in the Houston game.
What he said, or what I heard, was something about how he hurt himself in the Houston game, and then he hurt himself because of the shower. Something about a shower is what I heard.
I don't know. I didn't hear that. You can see the play in the Houston game. It's where you can watch it where he gets smashed in the hip. He must
have hurt himself more in the shower then, or something. He must have hurt himself on the Texans play, and then he must have hopped in the shower and fell in the shower. That must have been what happened, and shattered his hip again. But it's the same hip he hurt in Alabama.
No, it's the opposite. It's the opposite side.
Was it the opposite side?
Yeah.
Well, then now both hips have issues.
The one hip that he injured last year was it was basically a bruise. It was a bone contusion, so it's 100% healed. It's not something that like gets re-injured. The other hip, the one from college, that's one that can get re-injured. But I mean, me personally, what I think, I don't think this is the season that Tua gets injured. I think this is the season that he probably makes it through the season, like in 2023. But you know, just because if Tua plays or not, I still feel like our 2 quarterbacks behind him are in the wrong position. And I feel like if Tua does get hurt or ends up having to be pulled out of a game, I feel like I really would be more happy with Quinn Ewers taking the position than I would with Zach Wilson. Me personally, that's where I sit. I feel like Quinn Ewers has a better chance, especially responding to the pressure and being a proper leader. I think Quinn Ewers has a better chance at it than Zach Wilson does.
Well, they're gonna give Zach Wilson. They'll give Zach Wilson the first shot at it, and he's gonna stink for a couple of games. Tyreek Hill's gonna request a trade, and then what's gonna happen is Quinn Ewers is gonna come in because Tyreek's gonna say, "Throw me Quinn," or "I'm requesting a trade," and then they're gonna say, "Okay, fine," and then Quinn Ewers is gonna go undefeated. That's what's gonna happen. Tyreek Hill's gonna change this team around by forcing Quinn Ewers to go out there. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Pete, the 53-man roster, it's initial, so there's going to be a lot of changes here even before tomorrow ends. But as of right now, we have a 53-man roster. It's just I'm kind of treating it as incomplete just because there's some things that are going to happen here in the next few days, for sure. But.
And if you look at it like this, Tyreek and Tua already don't have a good relationship. You know what I mean? They've been arguing all offseason like a married couple. So at the end of the day, imagine
where do you get that from? Where do you get the arguing like that?
Well, from what Tua said. Remember, Tua said, "Oh well." This is how I look at the Dolphins locker room. I look at it as there's three sides. There's the McDaniel side, there's the Tua side, and then there's the Tyreek side. And Jordan Brooks is on the Tyreek side, and you could hear that from what he said. I think Jalen Waddle is in the middle of all three. I think he's fine with whatever. He's friends with all three sides. I think Quinn Bell is on the Tua side, so I'm glad he got cut today. I saw he got cut. I'm glad he got cut because he's on the Tua side. And I think Jalen Phillips, all of them are on the McDaniel / Anthony Weaver side, where they're cool with Weaver, they're cool with Tyreek. They just want to win football games, you know. And I think after what Tua said this offseason, where he said, "Oh well, me and Tyreek's relationship is still a work in progress," it makes it even further think that there's three sides in that locker room where it's kind of like they're all divided up. Where when they're eating lunch together and eating dinner together in the cafeteria, Tua's side sits on one side and Tyreek's side sits on the other. That's what I think is going on, and that's what needs to get fixed.
I don't know. They all just went fishing a couple days ago too.
Who was on the boat?
I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty
sure. Was it Tua's boat?
It was.
It was probably Tua's yacht that he was partying on all summer.
I would say.
But here's what we're talking. We're talking about probablys and guessing. We can't. We don't know. So when we talk about this stuff, we got to be careful because if we're not positive, then we're just spreading kind of.
I have a high hypothesis on what's going on in that. I have a high whatever it's called, a high explanation in why I think that's going on. So yeah, sure. I don't know for sure what's going on because I'm not in that building, but I could say what I think 99.9% chance is going on. I can't say 100%, but in my head that's what's going on. So in my head that is what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Okay. I would say Tua saying what he would say in the offseason, I would say that it's a good thing. Who's more of the leader of the team? Sure, Tyreek. Tyreek is the most, obviously he's the most talented on the team, has the most bravado, all that. But, when things went rats off a ship last year, he wanted out. And where was Tua when it rats off the ship last year? That's a good point. Okay, he wasn't even playing. Oh, that I understand that, but I think
he fell in the shower and he missed the rest of the games.
Tua is the quarterback of the team, and him even saying anything about Tyreek as far as trying to hold him accountable, that's a good thing. That's what a leader does. Regardless if we all understand that he cannot get hurt anymore this year, and that's even where I'm at a breaking point where it's like, okay, man, like every time that you've gotten hurt, it's not the line's fault. It's your fault, and you need to stop it because
you gotta stay healthy.
You gotta stay healthy.
So if Tua gets hurt this year, are you guys off of Tua if he gets hurt this year?
If Tua gets hurt this year, I think that it's time to move on. If Tua can't stay healthy for this year, I do.
I think regardless, even if he stays healthy, he's probably not going to be. The writing's already on the wall. We can't count to be like, hey man, for sure. If you get hurt or not get hurt, you're not going to be around for 6, 7, 5 games. So, but I just want to say that from the point of I think his words as far as like holding Tyreek accountable he has to. He's the quarterback of the team, and what Tyreek did wasn't right.
What Tyreek did was not right, but at the end of the day, you also got to look at it like this. You were down by 30 against the New York Jets. You had your 17th quarterback playing Tyreek was playing with a different quarterback every week last year. So he was probably frustrated because his starting quarterback couldn't stay healthy. And then next thing you know, you look at the sidelines and your starting quarterback is sitting there with 3 coats on and with Gucci glasses on. You know what I'm saying? So If I was Tyreek, I'd be frustrated too. Like, hey man, take the Gucci glasses off and take off the 3 coats. And if you really wanted to see how it feels in New York, then take the coats off and sit down and play. You know what I mean? So if I was Tyreek, I'd be frustrated as well. 17 different quarterbacks last year, and he looked up and he saw the Broncos killing the Chiefs, and he said, what's the point of even playing? My quarterback's not even playing. He's out there with Gucci slides and 3 coats on sitting on the bench. I would be frustrated too if I was Tyreek. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I had an issue with a couple things that had to do with that, but as time goes on from that game, I mean, I can understand a little bit of it. I definitely understand Tyreek being frustrated at the end and being forced to give an interview. I think that's absolute crap. That if he didn't give that interview, which he tried not to do, then they were going to fine him. So you sign a contract with the NFL that when they say they want to talk to you after a game, you're supposed to go talk. If you don't, you get fined.
He did talk. He just said that
right.
he did talk.
Right. I know. That's why I was saying it didn't bother me what he said. That didn't bother me very much. I let that go pretty quick because, you know, that in that situation, being hot and frustrated right after a game like that, and having the season end the way it did, I mean, I probably would have said some smack too, you know. So I wasn't upset about that.
And then you look over to the locker room to the left of you, and you see your quarterback with Gucci slides on, just chilling, drinking a beer after the season's over. I mean, you're gonna be mad. You know what I mean? I would be if I was Tyreek, I would have requested a trade after last year. Tua, that was disrespectful in my opinion on what Tua did to Tyreek Hill to end last season. It was super disrespectful.
Well, okay, we got to talk about something really quick. Like I said, I'm being very respectful of what you're saying. I understand a lot of what you're saying, but
yeah, of course.
Tua didn't take himself out of the games.
Well, Tyreek was playing with the broken hand. Let's not forget Tyreek was playing with a broken hand.
Like I said, we have to involve the people that make that decision because during the concussion that earlier in the season when Tua had that, he was beyond pissed off that he wasn't allowed to come back into the games and play. He was being held out too long, and he thought so, and he didn't want to wait. He wanted to get back in. And it's the same situation with the hip. He was very frustrated that he couldn't play. So like I said, it does suck that he had to be sat because he had a bruise on his hip and he wasn't allowed to play. It wasn't Tua saying, I won't play. It was Tua is not allowed to play. And then they have Tyreek with needing a surgery on his hand, and they're telling him, you have to play. Like, I get that. I totally do. I think that's screwed up. So I understand Tyreek being frustrated, but I think the frustration wasn't Tyreek towards Tua. I don't think that was a frustration. I think Tyreek was frustrated with his coaching staff.
I think he was frustrated that they forced him to play with a broken hand while Tua has a bruise on his hip, and Tua was able to sit out there with Gucci slides. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. But I wanted to be clear that we can't really blame Tua for being out of that game. It wasn't his fault. He didn't.
But here's the thing also. Tua said the week before that, if we make the playoffs, I'm playing no matter what. How about you play in the game that you need to get in to make the playoffs?
Well, okay, so
because he said he's playing no matter what. So he had the opportunity to play in that Jets game.
Do you think? No, he didn't have the opportunity to play in the Jets game. He wasn't allowed, period.
You don't think so?
Even Mike McDaniel said so in the interview before the game. He said Tua is not playing. And also, even though Tua said, I'm playing in a playoff game if we make the playoffs, if the coaching staff and the medical pros didn't feel like they wanted Tua to play, Tua wouldn't have played, no matter what Tua says, because Tua doesn't make that decision.
Why do they baby Tua? My question is, why do they baby Tua and they don't baby Tyreek?
That's a question for the medical pros and the owners and the coaches of the team. That's not a question for Tua. Let's
not forget how last year started. We all woke up on Sunday of the first week and Tyreek Hill was in handcuffs. Let's not forget how last year was doomed from the beginning. Last year was just not a good year from the start.
Yeah.
And then we had the soft, and then I was watching Amazon Prime, I think like a couple nights in Amazon Prime, and the Jets have this one Jets something where it's just it goes
did he go under a bridge?
And they had a clip. You can hear me?
Yeah, you cut out really bad there.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So what I was saying was a couple nights ago I was on Amazon Prime and I watched this like Jets documentary where it just followed a couple of the Jets players throughout the season, what they did on and off the field. You get what I'm saying? And they showed a clip of them playing against the Dolphins in that final season game, and you literally see Holland just let the guy walk by him for a touchdown. And you see Kohu do the same thing on the same play where they just walked and the guy just ran in for the touchdown. They just let him. And after I saw that, I said, I'm glad Kohu isn't playing this season, because we can't have that type of attitude if we're trying to change the narrative. And that's why guys like Jason Marshall Jr. need to play as much as possible, because those are the type of dogs that we need in there. That's the type of thing.
There's some players, and I'm with you 100% on that. This year, there are some players on this team that have a little bit better attitude, at least more fight in their gameplay. I do think that Jack Jones also has that mentality that
Jack Jones does. Yeah, he has that mentality. He'll pop you in the mouth if you say something that he doesn't like. That's
and
what we need.
He's not as he's not an all-star and he's not played much because he was an undrafted free agent. I also feel that while he's got a lot to learn, Storm Duck has that attitude as well. He wants, like, all during practice, all during preseason this year, anytime Tyreek or Waddle were on the field, when they were on there, you could see Storm Duck racing back onto the field because he wants to cover them. Like, that's the stuff that I want to see. Marshall Jr. and Jack Jones and these guys that are on this team this year, I'm more excited for what they can do just because of the attitude that I see from them. But like I said, performance-wise, we won't know until the season starts. And
does Rasul Douglas have that attitude? I don't know nothing about Rasul.
What?
Does he have that type of attitude?
I know he did. And like I said, I'm not saying he's washed up, but I will say that Rasul Douglas had that fight in the beginning of his career, but now as he's 31 years old almost, I'm not sure how much of that is left. I'm not saying he doesn't have it. I hope he does. I would love to see him come in and just start bashing skulls, but
not
we'll
Jalen
see.
Phillips skull. Oh, yeah.
We'll see, True Talk. I mean, like I said, I am optimistic for the cornerbacks and the defensive backs on our team this year. They're a big question mark, obviously. We don't know. But I'm not going to jump ship and say, oh, they're horrible. I'm of the thoughts that for now they're a question mark, like a lot of the team. And until week 4, I'm not going to be able to really evaluate what we have. But when we hit week 4, when we see these first 4 games played, we're going to know what we have at every position. So that's why I got that week circled on my calendar. I'm excited for it,
What's week 4? Who do we play?
That's after the Jets game. So we'll have played all 3 teams in our division, and we'll have played Indianapolis.
Yeah, so we play Buffalo week 3.
Yep. Patriots week 2, Jets week 4.
Jets week 4. And then we play Colts week 1. Did you see who's signing with the Colts? Mike Hilton is signing with the Colts, apparently.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm okay with it. He didn't do much in preseason. I wasn't really impressed. So, but I mean, good luck to him.
I like Jason Marshall Jr. more, so I'm perfectly fine with that as well.
Right, yeah, and I think right now they have him slotted at the nickel, but I mean, we'll see what actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be okay with that. I think Jason Marshall Jr. is big enough and strong enough to play a good, solid nickel. So hopefully he does well. But guys, we are hitting an hour and 35 minutes, and I have got to get out of here. I do appreciate you guys for coming in. True Talk, thanks for coming on and talking. Abel, thank you for coming in here, dude. I appreciate you very much. Everybody in the chat, I love you guys. I love each and every one of you. Even if we don't agree, this is when the live streams get good, is when we have differing opinions and we can sit in here and we can talk, and most importantly, stay civil and respectful towards each other. That's what it's all about. We're all brothers and sisters in here. We all are Dolphins fans. So thank you to everybody who came in here. I appreciate you guys. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Everybody check out Abel's cool hat. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Until next time, try to stay hopeful. There's reasons to do it. And we'll see you guys later.
There's Dirk. Fins up.